gotta be a little bit quieter. My wife's asleep now. This is factoring video B. We're talking about grouping. It's when we have 4 terms, like this. When you see that it has 4 terms, it should kind of automatically be clicking in your brain that, oh, I should kind of take apart and worry about 2 on the left side and then 2 on the right side. So what I say is to draw a curtain down the middle. So you group your left side and you group your right side. And this is when there's 4 terms. Same with this one. 4 terms. Draw a curtain down the middle. So what I do then is I take this left side and I imagine that it's a problem by itself and I factor it. So I break it down by first taking out the greatest common factor. So greatest common factor, I go to numbers first. So greatest common factor is 2. And then I look at my x's. They both have an x, so that's going to be part of the common factor. I have 2 and 3, so I choose the smaller one. So it's 2x squared. So then I'm thinking in my head, I'm kind of thinking backwards. What would be left inside the parenthesis here if I took out 2x squared? What's still left inside? I took out 2x squared. Now what's left? So up here, well, this was 2x cubed. Basically everything's gone. 2x squared's already out. So there's only an x left. Over here I took out 2. So there's really, and I took out the x squared, so there's not any x's left. So really all that's left is 5. And it was minus. And I could check my work if I wanted to. If I did the distributive property here, I should get up to my original problem because I'm not changing anything, I'm just breaking it down. So I go to the right side. I look over here, greatest common factor between 7x and 35. Number wise, I think it's going to be 7. And then I think about, I didn't include an x because they both didn't have it. And I think about, okay, what would be left inside here? Now, 7, took out the 7, so all that's left is an x. If I took out 5 of that, or excuse me, took out 7 of that, all that's going to be left is 5. And it's going to be a minus. Okay. One key thing to note here, if this third term is positive, then I know this is going to be a positive 7. If it were negative, I'd put a negative. So, my last step then is, I notice that I have a common parenthesis, x minus 5, and I factor that out, and it becomes part of my answer. And then the leftovers are what would be left inside the other parenthesis, 2x squared and a plus 7. Now say I were super nerdy and I wanted to check my answer. I don't actually do that, but if I were, well, okay, maybe I will. I should get back up to my original answer. So I would get, if I just did the FOIL or double distributed, whatever you like to call it, 2x squared, and then minus 10x squared plus 7x, and then a minus 35. So if you did the FOIL, you'd get the same thing. One more example. I already split the left side and the right side. Over here, greatest common factor. Let's see, biggest number that will go into both is 3. They both have an x, so I include the smaller one. I think about what would be left inside if I took out the 3x. I took out a 3, so there should still be a 2. I took out one of the x's, but there's still one more. And then I took out a 3, so there still should be a minus 5 here. 2x minus 5. As I go to the right side, notice my third term is negative, so I know my outside the parenthesis will be negative also. Greatest common factor. If you don't see a greatest common factor, just put a 1. It's like you're taking a 1 outside a parenthesis. You're not changing anything. But notice how it's a minus 1. So this should be 2x, because if I wanted to do the distributive property into my original answer, I'd get negative 2x. And then this one is also going to be a minus 5, because I want it to match these two parentheses. And if I did the distributive property here, negative 1 times negative 5 would get me back up to positive 5, which is what I want. So now again, my answer is the common parenthesis, 2x minus 5, and then the leftovers, 3x and a minus 1. That's factoring by grouping the left side and the right side, breaking it down. That'll help you with problem 16 and 17.